Hi everybody, today we're going to start the mental health videos, and today is general anxiety disorder. There are multiple anxiety disorders including panic disorders, OCD, and social anxiety and everything like that. But general anxiety disorder is probably one of the most common that you'll come across. I actually learned something a few weeks ago that was is obvious, but at the same time I'm like, oh, well, okay. But it said that a lot of anxiety disorders, especially generalized anxiety disorder, accompany other mental illnesses a lot. So, to get started, anxiety itself is normal. It's normal to worry about things. It's normal to have things upset your life. It's normal for that to happen. But when your worries and your doubts and everything that comes upon your head starts interfering with your life or your friends or whatever is going on, once it starts like getting to the point where your life or your work or your social friendships in general are affected, that is when the term general anxiety disorder comes in. It's obsessive, ongoing worry. You constantly have these thoughts. It can be anything from anxiety in general, anxiety to drive on highways dark, or social anxiety and stuff like that. But mostly because it's general worry, and it's always, a lot of that worry is worrying about the future, worrying the worst case possible scenario. And in that case, the whole thing can be a long-term challenge, because you're sitting there wondering, what happens if this happens? And this is the worst thing that you can even imagine happening in a situation. And you're convinced that's what's going to happen. And you have to talk to yourself about how you're going to handle if that happens. And so in that case, like I said, it's interfering with your life. Okay? There are things that can be done: lifestyle changes, medications, psychotherapy, meditation, relaxation techniques, all that stuff can be done. It's very easy, and a lot of times it really works. I myself have general anxiety disorder on top of my other disorders and everything like that. So I know how it feels to have this. It's a general worry. I also have panic disorder, so that's for another day, but it makes it worse. If you start to overthink yourself, overthink the plans that you have, overthink, like I said, what's going to be the worst case scenario. If you decide that things in life, such as going to be in social parties or driving, or being able to take care of your children or yourself or your husband or your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or parents, if that gets overwhelming to the point where you are like, I can't deal with this, this is something you have to recognize as a symptom of general anxiety disorder. You perceive everything as threatening. These events, like going to a party, like I said, you perceive them as a threatening thing, and that is it's taking quality of life away from you. And I think that's the major thing that I'm prepared to talk about like this with you, is that life, the quality of your life is affected during this. It's totally affected. And I think that's important to know. A lot of people get really restless with this. They can't stop moving things. They usually, I have things that I play with in my hands when I get really anxious. I mean, I take medication too, but like other signs, and I'm gonna read this from a list right now. And this is headaches. Okay, rapid heartbeat, difficulty concentrating. Now that's a really big one because for years I didn't think I had anxiety until one of my psychiatrists diagnosed me with it, and I said why, and he's like, well, you can't concentrate, and I said, well, when I'm depressed I can't concentrate, when I'm manic I can't concentrate, and he's like, no, but even when you're not manic or you're not depressed, you're still not being able to concentrate on things. And I realized that was right. Difficulty handling uncertainty. That is a big one. Like I said, a lot of people go and think this is going to be the worst case scenario. And so the not knowing what's going to happen freaks you out. You don't have the whole thing down where you can, write things out and say, okay, well, there's this uncertainty that's going to happen in our lives, but this is what we can do to prepare for this uncertainty. People with general anxiety disorder just fear it. They have difficulty handling it. They don't know what to do. They can't see in their eyes and what's going on, what to do. Like I said before, indecisive and fear of making a wrong decision. It comes along with that uncertainty, because you're making a decision on this thing right here that you don't even know what's going on, but you're going to make a decision. So it's going to be hard for you to make this decision. And the reason it's going to be hard for you to make a decision is because you're so uncertain with yourself. You're so convinced that you don't know what you're doing, that it's going to turn out wrong. And again, they all work together. And the big one is your inability to set aside or let go of a worry. Even after something's passed, sometimes people with general anxiety disorder cannot let go of that first-hand worry that they had before. They keep checking up on the situations. They keep monitoring themselves for fallouts of a decision they made before. They cannot let go. Now, granted, this is extreme stuff, but sometimes you don't, with general anxiety disorder, you don't necessarily get all this coming at you. Okay, you might have one or two things, but there are physical things that if you have a couple of these mental things, emotional things going on, like you can't let go of things and you're afraid to do things or whatever, there are physical aspects to this as well, and a lot of them hip fatigue and headache, you have trouble sleeping, the muscle tension, muscle aches, you're trembling, you feel twitchy. Like I said, I have the ball things that I play with my hands. Sometimes you get really nervous, you start sweating. Sometimes the worry itself causes nausea, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, and you're irritable. A lot of people are like, but everyone's irritable. Yeah, I know. We're all irritable. But if you have some of the earlier things and some physical things, including irritability, the chance that you have anxiety is great. Now, like I said, worries can shift from one thing to another thing. Like in my case, myself, I used to have the biggest fear of driving on highways at night. even if it was a little highway, because we had a little highway going through where we used to live and the diner that we used to go to. And I was so scared. Every time I had to drive that, I was so scared. Once I got there, I was like, okay, I'm good. But then it transformed. Like, I was fine on highways now. I was driving at night, no matter what speed it was, no matter of the you know, where the signs were. But now I couldn't go to social gatherings. Now I couldn't go to people's houses and spend more than 45 minutes at a person's house. Even if it was for a party, which I used to go first and leave last. And now I couldn't even go for 45 minutes. So it's a big thing that your worry could be on your kids. You know, while they're at school, they're threatened by all these things that are coming towards them and all this stuff, and then it could shift to, you know, you feeling like your car's gonna fall apart. But I mean, just like that. There are symptoms in children and teenagers that are different. A lot of times they're the same as an adult. I'm not going to go into a lot of the children and teenager